I started at Youngstown State University, which is one of the top D2 programs in the nation, and was there for 3 years as associate head coach, and had a lot of success. Then in 2001, I did go to Viterbo University in La Crosse, about 30 miles down the road, and took that program over and was to rebuild it, and was there for the last 8 years. And we had a lot of success there. It was a very good experience, which I think has prepared me for this experience at YSU to try to kind of hopefully re-energize and refocus the team, and hopefully we can have the same, gradually step by step on the same success here. And then obviously in January I took this job with great excitement, and have been here ever since.
You said you rebuilt Viterbo University. How do you plan to instill some of the things you did there at Youngstown State?
Right. Well, for us, it was at Viterbo. One of the things we tried to do right away is just really instill a sense of competitiveness in everything we do, a sense of directions and a sense of competitiveness on and off the field. Whether it's in the classroom, whether it's shooting hoops or on the field, and that's something that we're trying to lay down here. Is that even on the practice field, organized, directed, with a purpose, and always competitive, always taking a step forward, always ascending towards our goals. And the girls were involved in creating a mission and creating the goals, and so every day we want to take a step forward. That's something that we really focused on at Viterbo, and something that we're doing here, and the girls are starting to embrace it and do it day by day. But that sense of competitiveness and that sense of direction and sense of purpose is something that we've tried to model and try to apply here as well.
I talked to a couple of your players about a couple things about what's different about the camp now with the new coach, and they said that everyone's a lot more focused than they were last year. Was that something you tried to instill right away?
Exactly, and going back to the previous question, again, having a sense of purpose, having the goals and a mission, and then step by step, even the small steps, the smallest components, building up and directing towards that level of competitiveness, that level of desire, and having a sense of purpose at all times. And I'm glad to hear that they're embracing that.
Your Penguins returned 17 letter winners and 6 starters. How important is that for you to come into a situation where you have some players that have seen playing time?
Right, they've been down the road before. They have, as you said, they have the experience. They've been through highs and lows, and so nothing's going to shake them. I think we saw that in the first scrimmage. We saw some freshmen that had a really nice game, but then we saw some people that were pretty all over the place. It was kind of a shocking experience for them to be in. Playing a Division I soccer game for the first time, but the seniors, the previous letter winners, have been there. They've done it. Like I said, they've had highs and lows. Nothing's really going to rattle them. We've got some kids who are kind of the foundation, the bedrock. We're trying to build off that, and at the same time find more balance and find a little something, a little more overall sense of purpose and direction, and that balance in a roster with some of the new players. But we got to rely very heavily on that experience to guide the freshmen and guide the whole team through the highs and lows. And that on this level, with our competitive conference, you're going to have that. And so we'll really be leaning on those players, those seniors, to provide that direction even when times get tough.
You open up Friday against Marist. Have you scouted them? Have you looked at some of the things they're going to try to do against you?
Right. It's tough. It's the first game of the season. They haven't even had a scrimmage. They've only been in camp for a short amount of time, and I know they've had a pretty big recruiting class. So I think they're going to be vastly different than last year, and so that's something that we're still trying to formulate against them. So really, I think in the end, even when you get a good scout and somebody goes back to you, it goes back to you executing your offense on both sides of the ball. It goes back to ball security. It goes back to having that sense of purpose, knowing what you're doing, and doing it every time, and being efficient at it, and not making mistakes. And if you do that, it doesn't matter who you play, you're going to be successful.
You have Marist Snyder, who set the single-season record for the most shutouts with 4 last year. How important is that to have a nice goalkeeper when you come into this situation?
Right. Well, Mariah's also captain, and Mariah is very steady and very strong player, very steady. Her play kind of belies her year. She hasn't played that position for very long, but she plays it like she's been there for a long time. Right now, this week, Nicole Klein's going to get the start because Mariah's coming off. Just had to have her knee cleaned up a little bit, and she'll be back within 2 weeks. So Nicole's going to be pressed in action, and she's going to have to step up and find a way to play with intensity and be secure and confident back there. And we have faith in her that she'll do that.
There's a lot of girls that you brought in this year, new girls to the program. Have any of them surprised you and surpassed kind of your expectations already?
Right. We've been very happy with the freshmen that we brought in, I think, and we saw it in the first scrimmage, and they were a little jittery, but we saw great performances from Brittany Dow. Brittany Dow was probably playing at about 80%. She's still kind of recovering from her back's a little beat up, and she got hacked down a few times in that game. But even at 80%, she was very solid, very secure, made some things happen from the back, and she's really solidified herself already early in the season as a strong contributor back in the defense. We also saw Corey Stark, who we were very fortunate to get in here. We put her all over, and she performed very well. She was rock steady in her first game, and she had a couple moments of brilliance out there, and she scored a goal against a very tough Cal PA team. When things weren't really going well for us, she stepped up and took the lead and made something happen. As I said, had a moment of brilliance and scored a goal, and that changed everything. And I think we had Katie Peterlin, who's a freshman from on the outside. She was still trying to feel her way through that game, but I have every confidence that she's been doing very good in camp. Very confident that she's going to be a strong contributor throughout the season.
And to kind of wrap it up, what were some of the things you did well in the scrimmage, and what are some of the things you can work on?
Right. Well, one of our as we look back on the tape and talk to the team, I think we need to do a better job of having that game level intensity. We were nowhere near game level intensity to start that game, and Cal PA did a really nice job coming out, playing intense, playing physical, pressuring the ball. And we were we were lackadaisical. I think we were trying to get our feet wet. It was our first scrimmage. It was probably their third, I think. And so finding that match level intensity and match level of pressure and physicality was something that was lacking until the end of the game. And so I did see us step it up period by period, so I was happy with that. I think that's something that we'll still be needing to improve on, but I think we're kind of finding ourselves by the end of the game. Also taking care of the ball, possessing, and being creative. We got very, very careless with the ball and came back to haunt us. We need to play smarter, have a sense of direction, have a sense of purpose with that ball, and just take care of it and play our pattern. If we do that, I think we can be a very, very effective team on the offensive side of the ball. Likewise, one of our goals is just to be very, very, very efficient and not make any mistakes on both sides of the ball in our offensive patterns, or in our offensive and defensive patterns. And we're still getting used to our offense, the formation, our patterns. So I want to see us get more comfortable with that, be more efficient in whatever formation that we throw out there at all times. And I think that we saw that in the end of the game. We were more efficient offense and defense. We need to continue to do that and play 90 minutes like that. On the positive, I was really proud of how the girls didn't get rattled. We gave up a goal early, and they stuck with it. And something that we've been talking about is to win those close games, to be able to come from behind and step up your play, and they did that. We were very scattered, very all over early in the game. In the third period, they played more physical, or we played more physical. We played with more direction and a sense of purpose. Stepped up the play, and we really made some things happen. We could have really blown that game open. So I was happy with that, and that they came from behind and got the win, and then just generally got a little bit more comfortable playing a game at a game level intensity. That was something I thought we did a good job at by the end of the game.